What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome, y'all. Welcome to your girl. This is Tweet Talks. Yes, I am here. Like I've explained to you before in some of our other episodes, I've got a busy life, okay? This podcast is for informational purposes, and some versions will be for entertainment, and some of it is just for therapeutic conversation, okay? So, first thing I want to do is let everybody know that's listening. If you want to give comments, feedback, or even be a guest, you can contact me at tweettalks@gmail.com. Yes, that's where you can send all of your information, comments, or concerns to that email address. All right, so today's episode is for my single mothers. Yes, I am representing the most powerful woman in the world, is the single mother. And I'm going to tell you why. A lot of listeners that are listening, I know some of you women are women. I'm not sure if you take on the extra role of being a single mother. But first, let's put it out there. A lot of times males look at single mothers as women that chose to be with a man that either one, didn't want to be with them after they got pregnant. Two, maybe a one-night stand and got pregnant. Three, was in a relationship that didn't go well and end up being a single mother. Well, I urge you all to pay attention to this. Every woman that is a single mother, it does not mean she's a single mother because a man walked away. Sometimes you choose to be a single mother because the situation is not it was not working, or because it was the good of the child. And I speak for myself when I say this, because a lot of times, you know, when a man meets a woman and he thinks she's a single mother, especially if she's been a single mother for a long time, that, okay, there's something wrong with her. But I will tell you that in being a single mother, the beginning of the journey and towards the later years in that journey, your values change. Yes, the things that you value. Y'all know I'm from New York, so I have a different kind of accent. But the values that you have change. When you're a young single mother, the value may be keeping your kids dressed in the latest clothes, or keeping yourself dressed in the latest clothes, or staying in all the latest events, putting your children in contests and competitions and pageants. But as you get older into the single mother life changes for you. The values begin. What am I giving this child that they won't have to fend for themselves? That they won't have to work their butts off like you did for? That starts to be something you think about. And as being a single mother, it's always a thought in your mind. If something happens to me, who's going to take care of this child? It's real. Okay. And some of the things that a lot of males don't understand is being a single mother takes a turn at some point. It takes a turn. You may have a child that loves you and adores you, but as they get to an older stage in their life and they realize that they don't have a father, which is something that oftentimes they realize by going to school, seeing children get picked up by mom, dad, grandparents. And then they start to realize that, okay, I only have this, and I don't have this. So they constantly compare their own lives to the friends that they grow up with. And as y'all know kids in school they're not friendly. They are not. Being friendly is just something that they're not, okay? And part of that, that awakens that empty emotion that child feels. There's an empty emotion that comes along with being a single parent, the child of a single parent. Okay. So I was actually watching an interview, and I'm gonna play it for you guys because I want everybody to hear it. It was with Tamika Mallory. She's an activist. She's been known to be an activist in a lot of cases with police brutality, wrongful death lawsuits, and many things like that on black men, African American men. She's also been involved with housing authority activism. But I want you guys to listen to this interview because this was real. This is real. She's talking about in an interview how her child's father died at the age of 2, and she didn't realize it was an issue in his life until this. So y'all listen.
We was at it, and I was like, I will kill you. And I said to myself, oh shit, I can't do anything else for this kid. Like, I've given him love, I've given him all the things, and I can keep doing those things. But that next level, only his father can do it, or a man who is a stable, committed person in his life. What was he? Obviously he was angry. I didn't know that. So I thought because my parents were involved with his life and they were co-parents and he had, other figures, I thought he was fine. I didn't find out until he was like depressed as hell that he, even though he didn't know his father, recognized that something was wrong. And the comparison that he had, Angie, came from me. He told me one day, you have your father. You don't even know what it's like. You don't know what I'm going through.
That must have hurt.
It broke me into little pieces. Mm-hmm. What broke me more was...
How old is he when he could articulate
He was like 15 years old.
Wow.
But what broke me wasn't so much what he said, it was that I hadn't paid attention. I thought I was doing all the things.
That's what I wonder about you, because sometimes...
All right, y'all. So that interview is pivotal. And if anybody is listening and they want to understand why a single mother is the way she is and why a lot of times we're viewed as being strong. Okay. Basically in the interview, she talks about how she provided everything to this child. And in her mind, she was like the bomb mother. She was just doing everything that needed to be done. She was handling everything regardless of what came in front of her. Not realizing that while she was raising this child, there's something that is missing in this child that is going to come out. And regardless of what you do or what you put in, it's still going to come out. And I thought this was a really interesting interview because I was able to identify with that. Raising a child and not really realizing that the pain that they have is not from you. It's from somebody that's not there. And there's nothing that you can do about it. It's painful. Let's go back and think about our children when they get hurt. We feel their pain. Well, guess what? As a mom, especially a single mom, and even as an active dad, it's in that child's life, you feel that pain. You feel it. It walks with you everywhere. Everything they tell you, you feel it. And so the reason why I did this interview, the reason why I let you guys listen to and actually tap into this interview is because a lot of times men come into the life of a single mother and they don't understand why she is not easily willing to give up her submissiveness and just fall in love behind a man. Because this pain that she has endured, it's in her, it's embedded in her. It almost is like a shield or a wall that's been put up for so long. When you have a wall that's been put up for so long and you move back and forth past that wall, it doesn't seem like a wall anymore. It's just a boundary that's there because it's been there for so long. And a lot of men don't understand that. They get with a single mother and they don't understand in their mindset. A lot of men, now I know there's men listening to this podcast and I want you to understand it may not be you, but the reality of it is it's a lot of men. A lot of men think that when they get with a single mother, you are supposed to just be happy that you have a man and fall into position. It does not work like that anymore. Now back in the day it did, yeah. Nowadays, women have had to go through so much to raise these children and to subdue the pain that they have had to deal with when it comes to broken relationships and a child that they have to raise every day, that knowing that this child is not going to have what they need to have, and trying to be the subject matter to be able to apply everything that this child needs. That's a lot to carry. So she doesn't necessarily look at a man the same way that other women that have not been through it look at a man. She looks at a man as this is another liability, because what happens if this man enters into my life, plays this awesome role, and decides that it's not what he wants? Because guess what? If it's not his child, he doesn't feel that same obligation. It's very rare that you find a man nowadays that feels the obligation to stay if it's not his biological child. In most cases, he's there hoping that at some day that child is going to get out on his own and leave. I know there's a lot of guys listening to this that just don't want to hear it, but it's true. I have a teenage child, and I know that when I date men, the first thing they're thinking about is, okay, this is not a young child, this is an older child, so eventually he's going to be gone. Not realizing that I'm always going to be a mother. I'm always going to put my child first. And that's just not something, it takes a strong man. You know, I looked at a post one day on a social media site, and it basically said that it takes a strong man to raise another man's child. And that's true. But it takes a stronger woman to see a man as exactly that, a man, and not a man that she's experienced in the past. And I'm not talking about sexually, I'm not talking about emotionally, I'm talking about what he stays for and what he doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this podcast for today. Oh, and by the way, the interview that we listened to was on Angie Martinez IRL show, which is entitled In Real Life. Just to go ahead and put that out there. If anybody wants to continue and look at that, it's a dope show. It's a dope interview. So if you need to get into it, get into it. All right, y'all. So we're going to tune out. Anybody needs to send any comments, y'all know how to do it. See y'all. Peace.